Marguerite is 85 years old and just graduated from medical school.
And the way she puts it is, my girlfriends and I, our husbands have passed on, and we were tired of the bridge club and the garden club. So we all went back to medical school. And we opened up a hospital in Deep Step, Georgia. We only have 5 beds, so you come see us, you get good personal care.
And one day she was reading from medical textbooks. Now, were there any physicians in the house today? Good. She was reading from a medical journal. Well, first she had gone to do some visiting. Now, doctors don't make house calls anymore, and if she tells anybody she's making a house call, the other physicians kind of go, because physicians aren't supposed to do that. But she had made some house calls. She had had a long, long day because her hospital is an antebellum home. It's an old antebellum house. It had been empty about 10 years, and she and the girls fixed it up.
It's got 2 magnolia trees on the side, so we only have to paint the front. And we hope you come to see. There's a car portico there, and when there's an emergency, people come through there, and we bought an air hose bell from Gene Cannon. Y'all remember little gas stations in the corner of your town with 2 pumps? Remember that? And now in Georgia, the man who works on your car, back in the old days, you'd come driving and kang, kang, the bell would go off. And he'd come to your window, and in Georgia they say a Cherokee word. They say, fix it all for you. Check all for you. And OG came running when he retired. Y'all didn't get that, but y'all cute. And Gene Kenner would always tell you a joke when he came to your window, and then he would clean the windshield with a corn cob. Not that corn cob, it was a different one. And that's when he retired, he sold us his air hose bell. So when there's an emergency, people go over that air hose bell, kang, kang, we know there's an emergency, we come out and help you. Well, Ray McFoley, he's got the asthma. Y'all know Ray McFoley. He carries an albuterol inhaler in his pocket. And he had a bronchial episode, and he was driving and with that albuterol inhaler, when it had a Sucret lozenge in the middle. And he right there. And it wasn't going to dissolve because it was still in the wrapper. So he came to our hospital and kang, kang, and we went rushing out there to help him and everything. Well, there were 4 of us who were physicians together because we were all tired of the Bridge Club, and the Garden Club, and the Red Hat Society and all that. That's why we went back to medical school. 3 of us went to Emory University. Y'all ever heard of Emory? We don't have a football team, so you might not know. But it's where that Irish girl invented that heart procedure. Her name's angioplasty.
It's not going to get any better.
Anyway, but Mary Frances went to the Georgia College of Medicine in Augusta, and there's nothing wrong with that. And she practices holistic medicine and alternative cures. So Ray was, and she went into the kitchen of our hospital and she pulled out her favorite hot sauce. It's called Scorned Woman. And she poured it in a little pill cup. You know those little pill cups, like what you know what I'm talking, like what you put your ketchup in at the Wendy's hamburger, you know, the paper pill cup. But this is a medical supply, so it's $40. And she handed it to him and said, drink this down. He was healed.
Well, that's what happened the first half of the day. The second half of the day, she went visiting. She went to see her friend Dot. Dot had been the chairwoman of the Newton County, Covington, Georgia bicentennial parade in 1976. And Dot has memory impairment issues. Now you You might know somebody with memory impairment issues. Some of you who come here, you come here because you have memory impairment issues. And some people with memory impairment issues, what they do is sometimes they go to one of the happiest parts of their life and they stick there. And that's usually a really sweet thing when that happens. Sometimes they go to the meanest part of their life and they stick there. But that's what Dot did. She went back to 1976 and her world is completely 1976. That's where she lives. She loves the bicentennial because she was sort of the queen of Covington, Georgia during the bicentennial. And if you're my age or slightly younger, you might remember, what a big, it was like a year-long party, wasn't it, the bicentennial? Everything was red, white, and blue. There was bunting on all the buildings until it turned baby blue, white, and pink. And it was such a thrilling time, and Dot loved it. She loved it so much. And Marguerite went to see Dot in her assisted living home. It's called Euphemistic Acres. She went to see Dot, you know, and she came through the door to go to Euphemistic Acres, and she checked in and signed in, and everybody said, "Oh, hey, Dr. Marguerite, it's good to see you." And Dot's over in her room in Rose Lane, and Rose Lane was the name of the hallway where the people with memory impairment were. So Marguerite went to the door. There's a punch pad, a number punch pad, is, you know, to unlock that door, but you know the code is right there above the pad. But it's in Roman numerals, so you have to do a little work. Eileen, that's not full, that's, yes, not intravenous. You know, she punched her way in, and the door opened, and there was Benny. Benny was is Dot's son. Benny's in his 50s. He's in his late 50s. Benny was there, and he had his grandson with him, Dot's great-grandchild, and Marguerite said, "Oh, hey, Benny." Now, he doesn't like to be called Benny anymore. He's now a lawyer. His name is Benjamin. To everyone else in town, but to the old people, they all call him Benny, because that's what they grew up calling him. She said, "Hey, Benny." "Oh, hi, Dr. Marguerite. I'm concerned about Mother."
Why are you concerned about your mother?
"She thinks it's 1976.
Yes.
"Well, I keep telling her it's not 1976.
Stop it. Is she happy?
"She seems to be."
Well, leave her alone. Hey, sugar.
His grandson's name is Benny the Fourth.
Hey, Benny.
She left. She walked into Dot's room, and it looked like the bicentennial had vomited all over the place. Everything was red, white, and blue. It was completely patriotic. She still had her 1976 calendar on the wall, and she has the room covered with that bicentennial stuff you could buy in 1976. You know, paperweights and tie clips and little ringing Liberty bells and everything. And even back then, Dot was buying up that stuff. Dressed like you, sir. Actually, yes, there you are. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for making the set. You know. Never work in this town again. But everything was red, white, and blue. And Dot's one of those ladies, and if one of them's here, don't look at her. You know, when her hair went gray, she sort of dyed it blue. And she's very pale. She wears very white makeup, and she wears very red lipstick. So even her head is patriotic. And Marguerite walked over to her, and she goes, "Oh, hey, Dot. Hey, Marguerite, give me some chocolate." Dot was in her ejector seat chair. You know, the standing assist chairs, a big lazy boy ejector seat chair. If you have a loved one, or if you use one of those chairs, remember, do not go to full recline during a thunderstorm. All right, because what will happen is it'll be a thunderstorm, and then you'll be stuck. And that's how Dot ended up in Euphemistic Acres. She had been full recline during a thunderstorm. You're not laughing at that because it's cruel. And you're kinder people than I am. But Marguerite gave Dot a hug, and Dot always says the same thing. She goes, "Happy bicentennial of the United States of America, the signing of the Declaration of Independence." Marguerite said, "Oh, happy bicentennial to you, Dot." "Marguerite, I'm worried about my boy, Benny."
What are you worried about Benny for?
"I think he's losing his mind."
Why do you say that, sugar?
Remember, Dot thinks it's 1976.
He looked at his grandboy. He said, "Run out to the car to get the telephone." Because I want to take a picture.
She was so tired. It's been such a long day with the emergency room visit from Raymond Falling and going over to Euphemistic Acres. She sat down. She made herself a beverage of hot chocolate. She sat down on her sofa, and she knew she had to go through her medical literature. That's what doctors have to do. They have to read up.